Visit us at podlanderpresents.com to find information on all of our shows.
There are so many ways that we could start this episode. Like so many. So I guess I want to know, would you rather have a moment of song, or would you like to have a reading of a line that got cut from the pillow talk scene?
A reading of the line that got cut from the pillow.
Because we know
talk
singing
scene.
is going to happen anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
Singing is imminent.
All right, this is from An Echo in the Bone by Diana Gabaldon,
Oh, we're bringing a little book knowledge into this.
author of the Outlander series.
Okay.
Okay. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit, because there's like a fun little nod for Amelia. There's an Amelia moment.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go. If this is too long, I'll just go back and do the one bit. John sat up and reached to the table where a carafe stood along with a bottle and a glass. He poured something out of the bottle and handed it to me. "Thank you," I said, and lifted it to my lips. "Good grief, is that beer?" "Yes, and very good beer too," he said, tilting back the bottle. He took several hearty gulps, eyes half closed, then lowered it with a sigh of satisfaction. "Clears the palate, freshens the breath, and prepares the stomach for digestion." Despite myself, I was amused and shocked. "Do you mean to tell me that you are in the habit of drinking beer for breakfast every day?"
Oh, damn.
Of course not. I have food with it. We're not even there yet.
Food with it.
We're not even there yet.
Oh my God.
"I am amazed that you have a single tooth in your head," I said severely, but risked a small sip. It was good beer, heavy-bodied and sweet, with just the right sour edge. At this point, I noticed a sudden tenseness in his posture, which the content of the conversation didn't account for. Slow-witted as I was, it took a moment for me to realize what was amiss. "Oh, if you need to fart," I said, "don't trouble on my account. Go ahead." He was sufficiently startled by my observation that he did. "I do beg your pardon, madam," he said, his fair skin flushing up to his hairline. So what I have to say is,
Wow.
cowards, let Lord John Grey fart. You cowards,
fart.
Let Lord John Grey fart. Let Lord John Grey fart. Welcome to Podlander, Drunkcast, an Outlander podcast. I'm Allison.
I'm Julie.
I'm Amelia.
We are talking about the 11th?
Yeah, season 7B, episode 11, at Hundredweight
of Stones. Which, fun fact, is I obviously, as you can tell, did a little very brief book refresh, which I should probably do more often. A Hundredweight of Stones is the chapter title of the first chapter in Written in My Own Heart's Blood, which is book 8. Mm-hmm. Most of the action of this episode is from near the end of book 7. So we are really straddling that line, and like we're just barreling right on through nap time.
Right on through nap time.
We're just rolling right through nap time. We cover a lot of plot in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Not quite as plotty as last episode. Right?
I don't know. I disagree.
I think that
There's
there were
a lot
more
of plot in the last episode, but
there were
Julie,
more twisty shit.
This
there were
episode-
bigger drops in this episode.
This episode starts with marriage,
right? But we
with-
knew that was coming. It wasn't a twist.
ends with what is probably the most yakety sax sequence.
It really was.
It was.
I totally was thinking we punch, we kick, we fight.
It's very we punch, we kick, we fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because just when you're like, then all of a sudden Willie is there, and then redcoats are running up the stairs, and then Jamie is like, "I'll shoot him," and Lord John is like, "Yep, sure, he will. He'll shoot me.
He'll shoot me.
He'll totally shoot me. This is not a ruse. Why do you ask?" So before we get back to the thoughtful analysis.
Yeah, sure.
The farts.
Before we start the thoughtful analysis?
Yeah, before all of that, I want to say, again, this is Hundredweight of Stones, directed by Lisa Clark, written by Sarah H. Haught. It looks like Miss Haught, Haught.
Hot.
It's relatively early in her career. However, I almost said Dr. Clark. I don't know why. Ms. Clark has previously directed for shows like Sanditon, The Spanish Princess, Call the Midwife. So she's
I
really,
love all of those shows.
Yeah, she's hitting the history button. And I think does a pretty good job. There is one sequence with which I have some truck, but for the most part, I thought this was pretty well directed. The pillow talk scene, with the exception of the lack of beer and farts, was basically everything I hoped it would be. There's some we get just a classic trope in a new way. Usually when people are having an intense conversation while doing a parlor dance, they are talking about something that isn't espionage. But I like this development. The continuing adventures of Clariot the Spy.
Yes.
You bitch.
And there's just so much. There's so much that happens.
Okay, there is a lot of plot in this episode, but it felt less breakneck than last week's.
Yeah, I like I said, I have some qualms with this one, and part of it is, especially near the beginning of the episode, it felt a lot like we are breaking up an ongoing scene to put a scene in the middle because that is how television works, without there really being any rhyme or reason to it. Like I'm specifically thinking about Whean and Rachel.
Yes, yeah.
Like there's a cut in the middle of that scene.
Why
that
did they cut that? Yes,
right. And like
I agree with
Roger and Buck. Like granted, there are some jumps in time that I'm assuming we have to do, but. However, I will say from about the time that Brianna clocked Double Barrel Cameron in the head with a beautiful pot.
Beautiful.
Like
she really took him down too.
Like a Dansk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it was,
Right?
She danced him real good.
She danced him. From right about there on out, it was really like just choice. Just lots of good shit happening. And a lot of it is due to our close personal friend, David Barry.
I want you to know, I have to show this to you. He is embodying this character so much that I was writing my note and I wrote David Gray and then had to scratch it out and write Barry.
Wow.
It does say David Gray crossed out Barry forever.
Forever.
He's so, like, really, this man
gets to
has
do
the range.
Everything in this episode. He gets to do every single human thing in this episode.
Okay, this is what I'm going to propose.
Except fart.
Which really...
You know what? I miss it.
It's a crime. I just wanted Katrina Balfe to be like, oh, no, go ahead and fart. It's fine. And then for him to be like, what? I apologize, madam. That was not very gentlemanly of me.
Release the fart cut.
Was that what he was saying about not being gentlemanly? Do you think it was a callback to the fart?
I think they had rough sex.
Yes, they did have rough sex.
Yeah.
Obviously, she scratched the fuck out of him.
Yes.
Which was my favorite detail.
And every time I scratch my nails on someone else's back, I hope you feel it because that would mean you're not dead. Which, of course, we know he's not. I would like to propose that we do something similar to what we've done the other two
plot
episodes,
by plot,
right? Because not a ton happens of those. So let's check in on Buck and Roger.
Or Brianna first. Brianna is actually the smallest one.
It is the smallest one. She's got two scenes, and they're both good ones. One is the classic, I need to keep going, even though everything sucks. So I'm just going to do my chores until I lose my mind, and then give myself an ouchie and say fuck.
Yep. You know what I really loved about it was her engineer brain when she's trying to shut that drawer, and then she can't let it go. And then she slams her finger in it like a ding dong. But if it was me and I was grieving like that, I would just leave the drawer open and wander out of the kitchen.
Yeah, but Julie, you don't have a 3-year-old child.
You're right, I don't.
Right? Like, no.
And did you also notice the airplane in Jimmy's bed? We are going to see a fucking airplane. I just know it.
I don't know.
I almost thought it happened in this episode. I have a great big note about it when we hit it.
Okay.
But anyway, Brianna, you're right. She's very sad.
She gives herself an ouchie, and then later we cut back to her in her kitchen with her ouchie, drinking.
Everybody drinks a lot in this
Drinking
episode.
and doing first aid.
Yep.
Which also, Claire, like mother, like daughter, drinking and doing first aid. When who strolls in, but old fucking
this
Double
guy,
Barrel Cameron.
Did anybody else think that he looked ill? Like there was something weird about his makeup or something? He looked very, like, pale. Like,
maybe? I thought he just looked like a son of a bitch.
Well, he is a fucking son of a bitch. But he looked like he had been something. Do you think that weird kid glamored his ass?
Do you think that weird kid took some of the knowledge of herbal medicine that he learned from his grandmother and poisoned his ass?
Ooh.
berries. You should eat some of these berries.
Crafty little weird kid.
Do you want a biscuit?
Anyway, he comes in and we find out that he has pulled an old fast one on
Yeah, he
Brianna.
was like, what time travel is real? I've got a great plan. I'm just going to make you think your kid traveled in time. Meanwhile, we're just going to go to the movies. Then I'm going to show up to terrorize your wife. But you know what's going to be great? When she fucking dances me.
Dance the fuck out of my face.
Dance the fuck out of my face. I will say I was very glad in Adaptation Corner. That scene is considerably more brutal in the books. Oh, I'm a big fan of keeping it relatively simple. He is threatening. He is a man. He's a threatening man. And then he underestimates the little lady as he is wont to do, as so many men are. And because she doesn't have the knife, he's like, why don't you pour me some wine, Dove? He keeps calling her Dove. No. Dig, if you will, this picture. Yeah.
Everybody dance now.
And she dances his ass with a pot, and he goes down like, bing, 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 bing.
He's out.
It was little Tweety birds flying around his head.
The only thing I thought about when she did that was obviously she had to do it to get out of danger in that moment. I completely support you, Bree. Thank you. Eyes on the prize. You did the right thing. But now she doesn't know how to find Jimmy. So is she going to tie his ass up? Is she going to get a gun on his ass? Is she going to... We'll have to see what happens, but she has to have some kind of next step after this because he's the only one that knows where Jimmy is.
Oh, no. Is she going to trap him in the priest hole?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Priest hole?
Oh, my
Priest
God.
hole?
Oh, my God. What if she hobbles his ass like Misery style? Yes.
Oh.
I know that won't happen, but wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if we just saw her with a sledgehammer and we never saw his feet, but we just saw his face screaming in horror and agony? I'm sorry. I'm very mad at people right now.
Yeah, well, I think we are all going to delight in bad things happening to bad men when we can. So, fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck this guy. Double barrels to double barrel.
Dance, motherfucker, dance. Yeah, he really hits the ground real good. I am very excited for the next phase of this plot, whatever it will be.
Ooh, okay.
Because
I do like that they've been just so lightly sprinkling her in, like not yet for Brie. It's coming, but not yet.
But that's in the history of this television program. Brianna dansking that guy is the second most satisfying thing that she has ever done. The first being when she said, what part of this job requires a penis? Yeah, that was number one. That's number one always and forever. This is number two, though, and I'm very into it.
Yes, I love that moment.
Yep.
You go, Brie. Can't wait to see what happens.
Boom.
Poor Mandy, totally asleep in there, still kind of unaware that anything's happening. So Brianna's doing a good job as a mom.
She's currently Barbie combing Rob Cameron's face.
Yeah.
Just like putting little scratches, little
Like
Barbie
poking him in the eyeball.
Does this hurt? Does this hurt?
What about
this hurt?
Yes.
Do you want a biscuit? Yeah, get his ass.
And that was it for Brianna, right? We just saw those two moments.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye, Brie.
So now let's talk about Roger and Buck. They're just, they're boogie woogie bugle boying their way through the Scottish countryside.
Sure they are.
Trying to figure out.
Broad trip.
Trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And we know now that Jem is not there.
Mm-mm.
So they're just going through the highlands on a horse with no name.
Now it's not a father looking for a son. It's a son looking for his father.
I will say it was there was a little much of the I've got big feelings about my dad at the first half of this. Is like, yes, we get it. They all have dads. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got dads. Yes, we get it. We get it.
I forgot about his dad. And so then to be like, Daddy.
Real hard.
But
aren't you excited about the possibility that there's an airplane somewhere that flew through a jizz wall? Okay, cool.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
Just a
flying jizz air. My favorite.
Walls
Jizz
in the sky. Yeah. I'm super...
Buck and Raj, one's riding on one dark and windy day. Okay.
Yeah, there's just like not much to report here.
I would like to shout out two day players.
Great.
The Tinker, who worked real hard for that scene and did a great job, and I enjoyed him. Yeah. Very canny, very smart. You know, he's making his way on the road and he knows how to fuck with somebody. But then Roger holding that one coin
and he's
back
getting his
from him.
industry card.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then also weirdo with the RAF jacket who has his 2 weird kids in the cab in the like. What's going on there?
It's big Murder House vibes.
It is Murder House vibes. I'm like, what? Do they live in the wagon? Is it just the 3 of them?
It's very funny watching that guy be like, no, this is my jacket, because it is incredibly distinctive for this time period, right?
Yeah.
So, but even if it was just a jacket that was incredibly distinct, like what are the odds that somebody would have a jacket with that pet? You'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, never mind. Sure, I got the wrong house. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Sorry, by backing
But
out
he doesn't
slowly.
know. It would be like if he had like a what the fuck are they called? Like a projector? What's a transparency projector? Do you remember
Overhead
those?
projector.
Overhead projector. One of those. It'd be like if he had one of those on a cart just in the field.
It's just rolling it
And I'd
around.
be like, we've been looking for that. And he's like, that's mine.
Jimmy,
It's
Bob.
my farming equipment. It's mine. He's wearing a Britney Spears t-shirt. He's like, no, I made this with my own 2 hands.
But yeah, the creepy
It's
kids.
mine.
Like, where'd they come from? All right, we're giving it to you, creepy dad. Okay. Exactly. It had those vibes.
Yeah.
Seriously Murder House, seriously Deliverance vibes.
My memory of how exactly...
I also liked that Roger was like, deuces.
Yeah.
But he thought about it.
He
Yeah, he
thought about
did.
it. And then Buck was like, jeez,
Buck's back there
You've
going
been
like,
in the past
I'm
before.
gonna be the one doing all the
how
fucking
is
fighting."
everyone in your family so bad at this?
God, come on.
You've had so much practice. You need to be better at time traveling, bro.
Don't talk to them.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Come on. That's
We'll
some
find
Murder
them.
House vibes. I gotta go fuck my mom. Come on. Let's go. Come on. They are just looking. They're just looking
They're out there trying to find
for
well,
Roger's dad.
At this point, Roger keeps trying to remember that he's looking for his son, but we all know he's really looking for his dad now.
Well, now he's porque no los dos. I
Right,
mean,
he
doesn't know.
He's got the thing like maybe they'd be together, which to me makes
No
sense.
sense.
Well, from Roger's perspective, 2 points. A of all, God, right? Right? B of all,
That fucking guy.
I think it might be more him trying to convince himself that Jem is really there and they didn't go through the stones and waste all this time only because, for all Roger knows, Jem really is in the correct year, right? Like he really is in Jamie and Claire's correct time. And Roger just inadvertently steered
Went to the
himself to
wrong
daddy
place.
time, right? So I think it might be him like trying to be like,
Clues.
maybe he's with him.
He's
Maybe
looking
this
for
wasn't
clues.
a total fucking waste.
That's exactly what he said. Is the only lead we have is that I recognize these dog tags and I know my father is here somewhere, so we've got to just keep going. But it is a little bit like, okay, all right, let's see it. Let's see your dad walking around. Come on. I can't wait to see who plays him if we do see him. And I also can't wait to see that airplane. Serious.
Okay, so let's do a little we and Rachel.
They're so sweet.
Hit me, Buzz. You got a big feeling.
Oh, just Rachel Hunter is so beautiful and
She's
witty,
so
and I'm in love with
beautiful.
her, and I don't remember anything else except that she's beautiful and funny. Thank you.
She's great. She's great.
I did learn a little something about the friendly folk or the Quaker or whatever their term of venery is. When you mentioned this last week, I didn't put it together, but it seems that not all Quakers believe in an afterlife, which is very interesting.
Yeah. I didn't
So-
know that either. I'm not sure that was in the books, but it was very...
That was a cool little detail to drop in where she's like, just like last week when she was trying to convince Archibald not to stain his eternal soul or whatever with her murder, her being like allowing Ian to have had this whole full life before her, even though she's a little bit like upset by the surprise of it, but she's ultimately very reasonable. She's like the most reasonable person
Yes.
on this show.
Which doesn't mean that she's emotionless, but yeah, she is very like, what?
What? Oh,
Okay.
But he lived. He had a life.
And
Before
also,
me.
not everybody's culture is the same.
Right.
So, sure, for the most part, if you were married and your wife was still alive, that would probably make you like most people would see that as bigamy. Like, it's a family full of bigamists.
Yeah.
speaking of Leary and right, we got a lot of the old double marriages happening. But she doesn't see it that way. Like she accepts that people are different and cultures are different, and
it was a different idea of marriage or a different idea of coupling. And his description of his experience with the Mohawk is so effective. Like she sees how much he's gone through, right? She knows he just lost his father. She knows he lost his second father, Jamie, quote unquote, because that's how we all start as the Jamie's Cairn. Mm-hmm. So we do get to see Jamie's Cairn in the new world. Mm-hmm. But she realizes that he's been through so much loss. And then he tells a story of like even more profound loss.
Yeah.
And so she's just like,
yeah, a lot of sad people would have just stormed away, and she does not. But it does not have I can fix him energy either.
No.
Yeah. No, it's a very...
More like he is more of a person than I ever imagined he was.
Yeah.
Like he's got more shit going on than I ever guessed.
It's a great...
and then
a great little scene that should not have been divided in half.
No. It should not have been split.
And then let's also briefly talk about Ian and Claire's scene that I love. Yeah, it's a good scene,
so
right?
Good.
John Bell crushed it. Katrina
They're always so good together.
Yeah.
And that's when he comes in. It's towards the end of the episode where he's talking about how sad he is about Jamie's death.
He comes in because he is leaving to take Rachel to Valley Forge to see Dr. Denzel.
And the Fighting Quakers? That was mentioned. What does that mean?
I think that is a group of friends who were for revolution.
Okay.
So even though the Quakers are pacifists, I'm assuming that Denzel, they were Quakers that were participating in the war in some fashion. I don't know if that. I'm sure we can Google this.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of things to Google, is there already a university out there with the mascot, the Fighting Quakers? Because if not, Podlander University open enrollment starts January 1st, 2025.
Home of the Fighting Quakers.
Home of the Fighting Quakers. Your acceptance letter arrives with a jade pear inside of the envelope.
It's a jade pear.
Speaking of Sir Dr. Denzel, I heard two people say his name Denzel. I'm still going to say Denzel.
Same.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so he was showing up to say, hey, I'm taking Rachel to Valley Forge, and I wanted to say goodbye just in case this is the last time I see you, because he just assumes that she's
going back to the future.
Stones. And like, this is more explicit in the book, but Claire feels a sense of connection to the people in this time that's related to Jamie, and it makes perfect sense to me that even though her daughter is just like slamming her finger in drawers and
getting attacked, dancing a dude in the jaw,
just dancing, she would want to stay in the time that Ian is in, and that Marsley is in, and that Fergus is in, and that all of these other people that she knows.
In the world of the books, how long has she been there now? Because when she went back to the print shop, that was the last time she went back to the past, right? Mm-hmm. And she's been in the past that whole time. So that would be, at least 30 years.
How old is Jem? Because he would have been born I don't know, a year or so after Claire went back.
Okay, so it's at least 20 years?
No. Jem is 8 or 9.
No, I know, but when she went back, was she in her 40s and now they're in their late 50s? Is that more like it?
I think that they're probably around 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somewhere around a decade-ish, give or take.
Think probably a little less, but but yeah, it's been a while. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she has a life here, and this is where she's going to feel most connected to Jamie, so she decides to stay. But I thought they both did a really nice job where Ian just sort of accepts that she would want to leave because of the pain and because she's got family in this other time. And you can see the way that Katrina plays it, you can kind of see that she hadn't actually seriously considered it. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's nice. It's a good scene. I do wish that they hadn't actually had him explicitly say, it's like I lost both of my fathers, because the subtext of the whole episode is like, two dads, both of his dads died. My dad died and then my other dad died. Right? Like, and now I have another dad. Now one dad. And now your dad is dead to me. One dad plus one dad is two dads. Two dads minus two dads is zero dads. So I sort of wish they hadn't had him just come out and say it, but I thought it was a great little scene.
Mm-hmm.
as a part of Claire's parade of grieving.
Man. So now we move on to Claire.
To the real business.
Wow.
A
lot happening.
A lot of screaming in that house.
A lot of going on. The episode begins with, and I must call this out.
Title card?
It is before the credits. So yes, title card. It is the marriage.
Oh yeah.
In the living room. And I don't know if you know this, but it's a close up on the priest or the whatever he is going, marriage. It's basically the dude from the fucking Princess
Man
Bride.
and wife. Say man and wife.
And he's like, marriage is a sacrament. And it's whatever. And I'm like, did they know they did this? They had to have known. They had to have had a little hint that they were just throwing a little Princess Bride pepper. Marriage.
The thing I liked about that scene was when it's so solemn, and Lord John is so solemn, and he's saying all of this for richer and for poor, and then they get to love and to cherish, and he goes, to love and to cherish.
Yeah.
It's like,
he did.
Look over there. Which, of course, he loves her in his own way, but he's like, yes, protection, support, sickness and in health. To love to cherish. With my body, anti-worship.
And witnesses are Willie and is her name Mrs. Fig?
Mrs. Fig. Yeah.
Mrs. Fig. And so this just literally in the living room, 2 witnesses only. It's very clearly a rush
and poor
job.
Willie is like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Why is this happening? And of course, Claire is ruined. So she is almost incapable of going through with it, but she forces herself through because she realizes she has to do it. She's forced into this corner. And then Willie is then it moves into the scene with Willie, right?
Well, but let's real quickly talk about the title card.
Oh, yeah.
Very important.
Oh, yeah. White Stag. Is that Oswald's brother?
I was wondering if it was a coat of paint. If it was a dye job.
A costume? Oswald's back, baby?
We got to find out. But outside of the celebrity sighting aspect, I thought it was really nice.
It was pretty.
It was very pretty, and it's a good. It's very Sondheim. It's a moment in the woods.
Wow.
It's a great little white deer hanging in my backfields. I don't know. Okay.
White deer hanging in my backfields.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes. So they're doing some grieving. Grieving. On a Sunday afternoon. And they're both basically just getting drunk in their respective rooms.
Separate rooms. He's in the parlor. She's in her bedroom. She thinks about self-harm. And then she hears Jamie's voice stop her.
Which it is not a laughing matter.
No.
Because suicide is a very serious issue, and so is addiction. But I have to say,
I thought
when she started fucking with her box,
I really thought, Buddy was coming out.
I thought you would have called it, and it was going to be like, "Hey, Claire.
Hey, Claire, I'm still here.
I'll make you feel better, Claire.
Hey, Claire, you want to go to sleep?" But no, she instead pulled out what I think was vitriol first. Because she had all those same matched bottles of it. And remember, she had asked him to buy all of it.
One of her fixins.
Something that would have killed her. It was very clearly a poison. And then she decided, I don't want to do that. Instead, I'll just do this. And she pulls out her scalpel and we're like, ugh. And then she hears the voiceover, Jamie.
But fun book thing. In the book, it's the dick knife.
Oh, my God.
Okay, now that has its appeal.
That's a little bit more like if somebody found you, they'd be like, oh. Yeah. Her husband made this knife.
It's not supposed to look like a dick.
It's her hand around a dick.
It's her hand, knowing what her hand feels like.
Still don't get it.
Of the hand
I still don't buy it. Anyway, so she doesn't go through with it because she hears Jamie's voiceover, which is fine. It's limited. It's short. It doesn't take a lot, but it's a lot of clips of him saying lovely things about their love being throughout time, and it doesn't matter, and why I don't want to think about you dying, and that's what stops her, right? So she's like, okay. And she sets the scalpel aside and stands up, and she looks up on the mantle, and there's this enormous bottle of whiskey.
Huge.
Just all by itself. Just like the magical bottle. And she's like, let's do this. And she uncorks it and just starts going for it in her shift. And I'm like, all right, girl, we get you. Yeah. And then we see Lord John grieving on his own in the parlor. across the chessboard from an empty chair. Oh, Lord, John. He's drinking
claret.
He's going for it with the claret.
Yeah. It's the most must we've ever seen him outside of when he was an actual child and Jamie handed him his own ass, right? Like he's not doing well. He's in his bisexual nightgown with his ruffly collar, just like sitting in his chair getting away. And somewhere in that in that townhouse or wherever the fuck they are, Willie is like, God, nobody light a match. It smells like alcohol in here.
So much booze.
Why
If you fart, there's no recompense. We
Yeah.
cannot afford to light a match.
Why is everybody screaming?
I was going to say, and Claire is screaming. I wouldn't call it keening, but I would call it like grief screaming. And she can't
Screaming?
stop. Screaming? That's too close to creaming.
Screefing?
Screefing?
I think if I say something that makes Amelia physically turn in the opposite direction, that's the one.
Screefing. So Claire's up there screefing her heart out. And she can't stop herself. She's getting drunker and drunker and just screefing. And Lord John's down there just looking he picks up the queen and handles the chess piece of the queen a little bit and then lays it down. And he's like, that's it. And he marches upstairs. They're both fucking hammered. And he comes in.
Wobbles getting out of his chair, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, he did like, I got to do this. And he's like, I'm not grieving him alone.
It's the exact quote from the book. I think it's, I will not mourn him alone tonight. And then slams the door. Right? In the book, we have a little smash cut. It goes right from, I will not grieve him alone tonight to,
I farted.
Hey.
To, I farted.
It's, hey, we're both naked in this bed. That's totally normal, right? And
I was okay with this. I didn't mind it.
I'm of two minds. I feel like if you're going to do it,
do it.
Like,
Do it again.
I like the do it less or more. Like maybe one, like he comes storming in and they like are like fighting, right?
Scratching.
And then smash cut to awkward in bed. Or just, I mean, that would be a hell of an acting challenge, right? But like, okay, you're both fucking the ghost of the man you loved. Go. Right? And see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
So we know that they do it because they have you're right. I was okay with it, but it maybe went on a little bit too long. The weird montage of them screefing all over each other. What was
Screefing.
it? Screefing all over each other.
I think like it could have been longer. It just shouldn't be the weird like repetition of the lines and we're only seeing. There's one shot of her legs are apart and he is between them.
Yes.
But that's it. And I either wanted more or less, I think, personally. But I don't know. What you are good with it as is.
I was okay with it. I do think that it was a little bit too long the way it was done. Like maybe 2 less jump cuts and more like the open leg situation. More, if you're going to do that to convey that they're fucking, just a couple more that are a little bit more explicit, like the one with the legs or the, like maybe her from behind with nothing on her and like holding his head or something, like just something that would show that they were doing it without actual doing it. I don't know.
I guess
I wouldn't mind it if they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I just wanted to see those two very fine actors handle the challenge of going from like, I'm griefing to
I'm screefing.
I'm screefing.
Sorry, I'm screefing over here.
I'm screefing from I'm screefing to I'm queefing. To like find that transition. And maybe it wouldn't be doable, you know, like maybe it's too hard, but
that being
I would have
said-
liked to see the thing I wanted to see the most was not the boning. It was the point of transition. It was how we get from he is not yours to mourn and she's like pulling his hair and he's ripping her clothes, right? Like how we get from that furious mutual grief to mutual masturbation. No.
Yeah.
To the beginning of the sexual encounter. Was what I would have liked to see. But I still think it was effective, mostly because the second scene is
the pillow
effective.
talk
It's
scene
fucking
was
great.
so
But
good.
Thoughts on fuck montage?
The thing that bothered me about the fuck montage was there was a kind of a flavor of, are they trying to be tricky? Are they trying to trick me? Because there's he's crying in her lap. Now his face is in her lap. Now he's crying in her lap. And it was those 3 shots of like, what's that face doing down there? Is he crying or is he rooting around? Like, you're not fooling me. A of all, you're not fooling me. B of all, I don't know. It just kind of seemed like a red herring.
Yeah.
And I didn't need it.
I would put money on Lord John Grey did not eat Claire's pussy out.
My guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess is that.
I would put a lot of money on that.
Although I'm going to say he was married for a long time and he's a gentleman.
He's a gentleman. I just think that he's more likely to use a different part of his anatomy
than his face.
to bring his good lady wife to completion than his face.
Well, that being said, we get through the montage and then we are treated to my favorite scene in the entire episode.
One of my favorite scenes in the show, I think. Yeah.
The pillow talk scene.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. Okay, so sidebar. When I was watching this, I was watching it by myself today because Neil and I were coming back from Arkansas, so I had to watch it by myself. And I'm in my living room with my headphones in, so Neil can do whatever he wants in the house, and he can't hear it, right? Because we got to wait for dudes to watch it, Dudelander.
Always waiting for dudes.
Fucking always waiting for dudes. And then I hear a little knock on the door right after the cut into the pillow talk scene. And I'm like, spoilers! And Neil's like, just press pause. And then he walked in, crab walked sideways into this living room so that he could not see the screen. And I took a photo of his face facing me with them in bed behind it. And I was laughing my ass off. I was like, he doesn't even know what's over there. But it just cuts to them in bed. Kind of uncomfortable, but also not uncomfortable. Like they're just kind of like, well, that happened.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about it like adults.
Definitely uncomfortable, but I think it's like the unavoidable awkwardness of the first time you're around somebody naked and you're not hammered.
Yep.
Like if you encounter somebody and it isn't in the course of being a physician, because Claire has definitely seen Lord John naked. It was just in the course of healing him from his sickness, right? There's that awkwardness, but I don't know. He does a pretty good job of putting her at ease. She does a pretty good job of putting him at ease, and they have these years of like friendship and mutual respect based in something that's really complicated to begin with that they can lean into when it's weird like this. And they both understand what happened. And, yeah, it's a very faithful adaptation from the book with the exception of the cutting of the beer and the farts.
Shame.
Release the fart cut.
Release the fart cut. I thought they were both so good. The
talking about when Lord John says that he offered me his body and Claire's like, oh yeah, you told me that, bitch. I'm like, that was hilarious. But then his saying that sometimes the sacrifice is what makes it worth it. Like I knew that our friendship would never survive. I would never be able to call him my friend after we had that experience. So I'm glad I didn't do it, but yeah, I fucking regret it. Yeah, I regret it.
Because he doesn't, but you also know that he has thought about
every day.
Jamie saying, hey, you can hit this. If you take care of my son, you can hit this. And him being like, okay. And then just bow, right? Just that's in the old Spank Bank Forever.
Oh yeah.
But he's a gentleman.
And he didn't need payment to render a service for his friend.
To do a good thing.
And he loves Jamie and he loves Willie and he loves Claire, and it's all totally normal and not remotely complicated, right?
No, totally normal.
Nothing weird is going to happen about that at all. It's such a good scene. I think when we are doing the live show, which is...
It is.
February 8th.
Confirmed.
Thank you.
February 8th at the Oasis, noon
Come
PM.
hang out with us. It's going to be great. Anyway, I will be talking about this scene.
Oh yeah.
Lord John, okay.
First of all, David Barry and Katrina Balfour, great actors.
And they're great together.
And they're always so good together. And because they share Jamie, there's this shared knowledge that they're so good at conveying. I just think they're great at this. And
yes.
I love this scene.
I thought it was very funny and charming, but I really want to shout out the fact that David Barry managed to not only pull off this line of dialogue, but to make it a little bit moving. When he said, think of the dam, idea.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So this is where the title card came into it. So Claire asks Lord John, did you ever have a boyfriend, basically? Do you have people that you can experience love with or whatever? And he tells a story about a cook at either at one of the houses, the manors he owns or whatever.
At Mount Josiah.
Right.
At the plantation.
So he does have someone that he has... Minogue, thank you, that he has had a physical relationship with, but then he likens it to this experience he had where he saw a white stag, which is what we saw in the title card, which was, it's magical and it's there for a moment, but it doesn't have to always be there to be magical.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool and kind of a really interesting way to explain polyamory to Claire, or like, I can fuck anyone whenever and it's okay. I don't have to think about them all the time and they don't have to think about me. Mm-hmm. It's okay. And it's okay that my life is like that. I'm not lonely and I'm not missing out because I'm not married or quote unquote in a cishet relationship or whatever. So I thought that was a really beautiful little speech.
Yeah. Think of the dear, my dear.
Think of the dear, my dear.
Just really
Henry Higgins vibes.
Yeah, I was going to say Stephen Sondheim vibe. The dear, my dear.
My dear? My dear.
Yeah, it was a great little scene. But they had a couple of other really good ones too. So their sort of ongoing complications in this episode are, of all, Claire just
screaming,
rightly sticking her nose right in the Grey family business when the thing I accidentally spoiled in the Crowdcast 2 weeks ago comes out, and Henry Grey's like, hey, so I'm gonna marry Mercy Woodcock. That is gonna happen. And David Barry
out of nowhere is like, hell no.
No, he goes, may I speak to you in private?
Which is such a damning thing to hear from an Englishman.
May I speak to you in private? Let it. And it's horrible, but also very funny.
I really loved Mercy's response, which this is my fucking
this
house.
is my house.
Baby.
And if you want to talk about me, you can do it in front of my face.
Yep. So that is one plot line. The other is Lord John being like, so if we're married, you have to at least pretend to like me because people still think you're a spy. So
let's throw a ball.
We have to throw a ball.
I got you this dress from Felicity Merriman's closet. It's blue and has a long stomacher. Merry Christmas.
The screef is giving a ball. So let's talk about Henry and Mercy first, because he's like, no, uncle, I'm not going back to England. I'm marrying this nice lady. It's going to be real complicated, but we're doing it anyway. They're free church.
We love each
marry
other.
people of multiple races. And Lord John, initially you're like, okay, well, I hate this, but fine, this tracks. This is absolutely how this character would react. Like he of course, this is how he would react. He's
It's about the money.
Rich white guy.
Right. It's about the title, the land,
But then
the money.
in the scene in the carriage when he's like, I'm not... Do you think I don't know what it's like to love someone and have that be illegal? Like, I'm not condemning either of those people to a life where they have to be constantly afraid in that way. No, I'm not doing it. And it's still a shitty reaction, but it contextualizes it in a new way that I really appreciate.
I did
because I
too.
hadn't thought about that at all.
Yeah.
As the source of his... And you can see Claire being like, okay, well, that's a fair point. But I'm
Still
glad
sucks.
I'm glad you're not a bigot.
Yeah.
But come on. Get on board the love train.
That carriage scene was really good too.
It was very good.
So Lord John is not on the love train, but then it kind of goes away because now we've got to go to the ball.
Yeah. Well, they've got social engagements.
They've got a schedule.
So they're throwing a little party to raise money for the
Richies,
the royals.
Yeah,
for the cause of
keeping a king
monarchy.
in America, right? That cause.
And it is, I was so hopeful. It's obviously now in heavens in the books. You see what happens in the books because it's exactly what happens in the show. But the second they were throwing a party, I was like, is Jamie going to show up at the party, please?
Oh
please.
my God.
Ruined dinner party? Can we have a ruined dinner party? Please.
That would have been amazing.
Please. He's got a house full of important British army people types. And Jamie is just like, where's my wife? Like, please, give me that. It didn't happen. Alas.
Or give me, the party's going on. Claire has shown her face because she has to. And then she has to take a breather. So she goes up to her room to screef some more. And then there's a rock on the window.
Happening.
Yeah. Party's happening in the background. You hear a little pebble on the window. Ting, ting, ting. She opens it up and there's Jamie's sad ghost.
Oh, I was going to think that. I thought you were going to say
screefed?
that. You screefed?
You screamed, I'm here.
I'm here. I figured you were going to say that he like scaled the side of the townhouse.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it was a Clarissa Explains It All moment.
Yeah. He came to her window, and then they're screaming for some other reason coming from upstairs, and then you see like the chandelier moving, and like motes of dust are falling onto like the fancy partridge stuffed with 72 partridges.
That spread did look good, though.
It did look good.
And then
All the crayfish.
But will no one think of the crayfish? Will no one think of the partridges? Please.
and it cuts to Lord John and he says, wife is
Otherwise engaged.
feeling unwell.
Screefing.
She just straight screaming.
She's had a digestive episode. She's not drinking enough beer in the morning.
And then he farts and everyone runs away.
Okay, so first of all, Claire's like, no, I'm not going to that party. And Lord John is like, okay.
Yeah, you are.
But please do, because people still think you're a spy. So like this really sucks.
Nut up. Get in here.
If we're gonna be a team now,
Get in the game. I saved your life.
come on, let's fucking go. Because I will say,
Good.
he could have maybe come up with a more subtle way than to buy her a dress. It was a very pretty woman.
I don't like that. You know what it's a callback to, weirdly? It's fucking Ed Spieler on the island. Fucking what's his fuck?
Oh.
Stephen Bonnet. Put on this dress, my little doll.
See, I thought it was a callback to Paris. Remember Claire
Yes.
coming down the stairs?
Oh, definitely the stair entrance was a call to Paris. But like a man buying you a dress and saying, wear this dress that I bought you. I hate that trope.
Yeah.
But also, I will say this. Lord John Grey has better taste in dresses than Stephen Bonnet did.
I mean, low bar.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say better taste in dresses than Jamie, and I was going to be like, well,
Not really.
I mean, he did buy that beautiful wedding dress, but it was the only dress in town.
Yeah.
So,
and it did come from a whorehouse where somebody had to pawn it or whatever.
Yeah, but it was a very beautiful dress.
It was very
From,
pretty.
from where?
A kitty house.
A kitty hoose.
So finally, Lord John is like, welcome to my party. I'm alone. It's fine. Welcome to my party.
I'm sorry,
Welcome
she's
to my party.
indisposed.
Welcome to my party. And then Richardson, son of a Bitchardson,
This
shows
guy.
up.
Son of a Bitchardson up top.
Ew.
Nux. That's funny.
Thank you. And Lord John is like, what the fuck are you doing in my house? And he says, I'm here, to congratulate you on your nuptials and also to probably wreak some havoc. And that is, fine. So Lord John is like, okay, yeah, I guess let's raise some money for
For the king.
the
Who
fucking
needs it?
monarchy.
Yeah.
They
Right?
need that
Okay.
money.
Listen, that farming lifestyle is not the return on investment. Just kidding. That crosses streams with Richard.
He's looking at the stars right now.
Yeah, he's
Somebody's got to
busy.
raise some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then two other people show up, but because they were just featured extras and did not have lines, they don't say anything. They just walk in, and then Claire comes down the stairs and they stare at her. And then Lord John goes, Lady John Grey, and just bows. And they all go and walk away silently because they weren't getting
She
paid
does
for
look good, though.
Lady Coin face.
She comes down. She knows she has a role to play. She has done this shit before. She has done this shit before in France, right? So she's like, I'm ready. All right. She's got her game face on. She just knows she has to be upright and kind to people.
Yes.
She's not happy about it, but she knows she has
She's
to do
there. We have very little actually happens at this party except for two very important things. One is the aforementioned dance of espionage. Mm-hmm. The other is Willie having no game.
No
Oh,
game.
no, hold on. It's not that Willie has no... There are two things about Willie that happen at this party. There's the one where he doesn't want to dance with Polly or whatever. That's the no game.
It's, excuse me,
Peggy?
it's Ann Peggy.
Peggy.
That's the Ann Peggy. This is 100% a Hamilton joke.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not saying
As
I'm making
in
a Hamilton joke.
socialite.
I'm saying that the writers of Outlander, if they did not make this joke intentionally, I would be shocked. There are three, Julie, if you'll recall from your...
Skylar sisters.
Yes, the three Skylar sisters. There's Angelica and Eliza. And also...
And Peggy.
And she's the Aunt Peggy.
Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't want to dance with Aunt Peggy.
No, he didn't. No, because nobody wants to dance with Aunt
Aunt
Peggy.
Peggy.
But here's the thing that happened with Willie that made me laugh the hardest, and it wasn't even Willie. It was Bitchardson.
Son of a Bitchardson.
Fucking Bitchardson was not invited to this party, let us all remember. He comes in. He's in the mix now. He's already had his introduction to Claire and all that shit. He's in the front room, and then William, not knowing that Richardson literally hired him because he knew he would be the worst spy of all time, is standing there with his back to him, and William's like, Colonel Richardson or whatever. And he turns around and you see that guy go through this face of, oh my God, this guy. Like immediately, he has this whole he has 3 different emotions that hit his face when he sees Willie for the first time. That is so funny. And I'm like, dude, whoever this actor is, I'm going to look him up. Richardson, you get my little prize for that moment.
I'll look it up.
Best bitch.
Yeah, because he just turns around and he's like, Willie. And it's
Willie
so funny.
or won't he? Spill some secrets.
He will not. And that's why I hired him. Yeah. But so Peggy, as we said, obviously is one of the Schuyler sisters, a socialite, lots of money.
She's not actually a Schuyler sister.
She's not.
Her name is Peggy Chu.
That's right, Chu.
But it's if you're doing something set in the Revolutionary
and
War,
you name a Peggy,
if you name a character Peggy in this our year of the Lord's year of 2024, whatever the fuck
that guy,
then it's Peggy.
You're gonna think the Schuyler sisters. So isn't Peggy short for Margaret?
Yes.
Okay. Ben Lambert, by the way, is Captain Richardson.
All right, Richardson. Ben Lambert, you're on the docket now, especially for that moment, and then for the scene we're about to talk about. But so let's talk about Willie not having game. I didn't see it as him not having game. I saw it as him not wanting to dance with her.
Oh, he didn't want to dance with her, but I don't think he realized exactly how rude he was, because the whole point of this is they were supposed to be raising money, right?
Right.
And they were, and
she's money.
I think he thought he was being friendly. Like he was saying, her family have been staunch royalists. They're all of her support, like trying to do the thing. But she's like, oh, but what about dancing? And he's like, no, I don't think so. Oh, you're such a nice girl.
No.
Dancing is stupid. And Claire's like, what are you doing?
To go glad hand, you idiot.
Big dummy.
And now I have to dance with Richardson because I just schooled you and now you school me. And now Richardson and I are going to go have a spy dance.
It's a very Jamie thing to do, I will say. Being like, oh,
you wanted me to do it. Now you do it.
enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Have fun.
There you go.
I thought you just said this.
Bye.
See ya. And also her being like, oh, I'm so out of practice. And then she goes and she's like doing all the most intricate like bows and nods and everything's like, how do you still know how to do this?
Muscle memory, baby.
Yeah.
Man, you've been on the ridge for so many years. Is this dance even a dance you used to do?
She learned that shit in PE class back in the 1930s.
Yeah, she
Right?
did.
Like she learned that in a gymnasium.
Come over here. We're going to learn court dances from the 18th century.
And that is your physical fitness for the day.
Anyway, she does a great job in the dance scene. But it's her and Richardson. And we find out Richardson.
At least he says.
Yeah, I think
But
it's a
we don't
trap.
know.
I think it's a trap.
I feel trappish.
He did send Willie into the woods to drown in the swamp of sadness with a bullshit message.
And he did come to Lord John to warn him about Claire, but we just can't trust
He
Richardson.
is highly sus, regardless.
Yeah, we can't trust him.
The reason I don't trust him, and this is just me.
Is it
reading-
that face?
Well, it's that face. But also, just the show has trained me to go, Claire is being sneaky. No, she's not. She's about to walk into her own peril.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, if thinks she's being sneaky, she's not. She's dumb.
Somebody's using her.
She's drunk at Lollybrock. Like, that's what
You're not on board with Clary the spy.
She's a terrible spy.
Oh, well, yes.
I know that's what makes
Like
her Clary.
stepmother, like stepson.
Yeah, it skips a generation. I don't know, but it's
They are in a mutual appreciation society of how bad they are at spying.
Yeah. But the dance sequence with Colonel Richardson is quite good because they are both able to continue this kind of intricate court dance while they're having this pretty deep conversation.
But also at like full volume. I will say.
I know it was a little loud.
Listen, that is not, there's no subwoofer here, okay? The music is not that loud. The music is is a reasonable volume. And sure, probably most of the conversation won't be overheard, but what about all the times they're like doing a circle and other couples are doing a circle and they'll just hear, I'm a rebel, blah, 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 right? Like,
Yeah, it's like Mr. Collins doing
Spy
like,
on my husband.
I hope to stay close to you this evening because
Yep.
at Rosings there are many windows. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Claire, you like windows? Okay.
We know she does.
She does like windows. But Richardson basically says, hey, so great news. I too am for liberty. How about you spy on your husband? And Claire's like, how about I don't? Bye.
See
and
ya.
that's it. But he has that crafty look in his eye. Like he's thinking about sending her into the woods to drown in the swamp of sadness.
He's got something. Richardson is one of those guys that
Speaking of-
always has something.
Speaking of unintentionally funny moments in Outlander, you know what I think about every once in a while?
Oh, no.
Willie with his gross tree branch wound, lying on the ground in the woods,
Self-owning himself.
Song.
yeah, going, I am William. I rode a horse once.
I got nothing.
I enjoy pastries.
Once I saw a cloud whose shape was unknown to me in terms of comparison to objects I have seen.
Anyway, it's probably not a good time for us to dunk on Willie because his whole world is about to be
Yeah,
turned
he's
upside down.
about to learn some shit.
Okay, so John and Claire have a new understanding. There's a little shot when they're getting in the carriage to go to Shea Woodcock, where John notices that she's wearing her Jamie ring and the wedding ring from their wedding at the same time.
No, she's not wearing it when they get into the... She wears it later. She wears it at the party, but she doesn't wear it when they go to Mercy Woodcock's house. Because he notes that she is not wearing it. She's only wearing the Jamie ring.
I think it's backwards. I think she's not wearing it at the party. Because
She is wearing it at the party. She is not wearing it at Mercy Woodcock's
Okay.
house.
Well, regardless, there's a shot, whichever one it is, there's a shot where, because we first, right after the marriage, we see her take off the ring and leave the other one on as soon as she gets back into her bedroom of sadness, of screefing. And then, this is the sound of screefing.
Hello, shipwreck, my old friend.
Oh my God. I can't believe it's you again.
Why did you drown on my husband? I don't know. Okay. So they have reached a new understanding, sort of. They both are not into the being social, but they both get that they have to do things. And so they're just chilling in Claire's bedroom, talking about which of the stupid dinners they have to go to, they're going to go to.
Yeah, he brings in like 5 invitations. Is like, we have to do one. And Claire just looks at the fire and nods once, like, fine, one. Ugh.
And they're just chatting when all of a sudden they hear a stramash.
It is a stramash. It's
Like-
Mrs. Fig downstairs going, no, you can't go up there. That's a private bedroom.
And then you just hear like, oh, I, blah, 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 Heather, blah, blah, haggis, killed.
I'm a killer.
Yeah. I'm a serial killer, get out of my way. And Jamie, of course, comes storming in. And Katrina and David Barry are both so good in this scene where they're like, what? What? Oh, God, I'm so happy, but this is about to be so messy and
Oh,
complicated.
no.
Oh, but I'm so glad. There's when I was revisiting this sequence in the book before we recorded, it's claration, obviously. And she says that Lord John like turns back from the window to be like, I think you might have to move out soon. The yard is swarming with redcoats or whatever, but he looks like he's been lit up inside, like lit up from within. And that's totally what it looks like, right?
Because he's so happy that he's
like,
alive.
He's just, they're both overjoyed.
Over the moon.
But they've got like a hot 30 seconds to deal with that because apparently, because the city is under the British control. So Jamie walked into the city and everybody was like, I smell a serial killer.
I smell a Scottish dude.
Wait. Oh, it's
I
the
smell a
notorious
rebel.
Red Jamie Fraser. So he's just got like 15 redcoats chasing him through the streets while he's just trying to find his wife. And Lord John is like, okay, but you got to get going because your son is going to be here any minute.
And he says that out loud.
Yes.
He
And Jamie
says,
is like,
you need to leave this house because your son is set to arrive right now. And he says it loud enough to where if you were standing right outside the door, you could hear that sentence. Your son is about to arrive. Door opens. What? Oh, no. Poor Willie's face like, oh, that kid.
To daddy?
To daddy.
Wait, one daddy plus one daddy equals two daddies. No. So there's a stramash in progress, and Willie is like, "What? Who are you? Wait,
that's my
who
dad?
am I?" And Jamie says a famous line from the book: "You are a stinking papist." Because of the scene where he gives Willie his little secret baptism way back in.
And the little secret rosary, which Willie then shoves back into CNN. That's very sad.
Yes. But on the other, it's both, right? Because on the one hand, he's
kept
like, take it back. But on the other hand, he had it with him. Right? And you can see Jamie being like, I don't, so many feelings. There's too many feelings. Like,
Can I kill somebody?
I didn't ever want you to know this, but I'm really glad you know. And Claire was like, this is horrible and also fascinating. And I'm so glad. And also I'm so confused and blah, blah, blah.
And as that's happening,
all the redcoats
are coming in.
And Jamie's just like, move a step farther, I'll shoot him in the head. And Lord John, just David Barry, the look on his face being like,
yes,
right.
he will.
Oh, yes, I'm very alarmed.
He will kill me.
Yes, and he will kill me.
Yes, and.
Exit stage left even.
Yes, you probably shouldn't follow us. He might kill me if you follow us. Oh, no.
Pursued by Bairn.
Oh my God.
Not pursued by Barry.
I know.
But
Willie loses it and runs.
the episode ends with a very cool shot of Claire being like, what?
What did I say? I wrote a note
This is
about
the inverse of crying inside of your mouth.
Yes.
What did I write? Oh, first of all, Captain Richardson's face when he sees Willie. Sorry. I had a note about Claire. Claire's all like, classic Jamie.
It is classic Jamie.
Yes.
It is classic Jamie.
Classic
We
Jamie.
can punch it right to kick.
And there was even that music too when he entered too. I was like, oh my God. Callback.
Like literally that man needs to find his wife. Can he send a note? No. He just needs to fucking race through the streets of Philadelphia.
Sniff in the air for his blood.
Different
Streets of Philadelphia. With just like 20 redcoats, they're just like tripping over things and falling into each other like, ow! And then
and he's just like
comes racing up. It's like, hi, you're my wife.
I just need to make out with you real hot, real second. Oh, now I got to point a gun at my best friend. See ya.
They also offer the explanation of he was supposed to be on this one ship. His luggage was on it, but the captain was like, tap, tap, tap. Ooh, sticking my fingers in the wind. This is a fair breeze. Or wait, French. It is a fair breeze. I think we should depart early. I do not care that all our paying customers are not on board. I will leave now because the sea desires it. I must follow my heart into the sea, the heart of the ocean.
The poisson will take care of your luggage.
And Jamie's like, my trunk.
But my
My hair ribbons.
my fucking needles.
My head needles.
My acupuncture needles.
Oh, shit.
There's speaking, because again, I did a little book revisiting before we record this episode. There's a mention in the book where Claire, when she's hugging Jamie when he comes in, she's like, he smelled like sweat and food and very faintly of vomit.
Yeah. Because he'd been thrown up the whole time on that
Because he
boat.
has not been long off the ship.
What is he?
A weak seaman.
He's a weak seaman.
Yes.
He's a very
thank
weak
you,
seaman.
Thank you.
Incredibly weak
How could I forget?
seaman.
Actually, the seed is strong, as evidenced by this scene. Fun book fact.
Yeah.
Lord John just conveniently saying your son does not happen in the book. Because in the book, Jamie goes out of his way whenever possible to not see Willie once Willie is an adult because they look so much alike. So there's the one like, you're hot, sir, right? And even then he kind of like keeps his face away and runs and says afterwards he shouldn't have done it because they look so much alike. But it's been a couple of years since then, and the way that the declaration says is like, Willie is old enough that he has to shave every day now. This is a person who knows what he looks like because he's looking in the mirror all the time. And he's lost weight and he's like gotten, like his bones are firmer or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Well, he's been soldiering.
He's been soldiering. So when Jamie comes busting out the door and sees him, he's like, holy shit.
That's my dad.
That's my fucking dad. What the hell who are you? Who am I? Right? Other than that, it's like a very straight adaptation. And I suspect what happens next will also be very straightforward. Exactly like what it is in the book. But we'll see. But yeah, they look so much alike, which obviously the casting department did a great
Nailed
job.
it.
But they don't look so much alike that you'd be like, you're my dad.
No.
Wow. This is more like,
You could be my dad.
it's not a Colin Hanks situation, right? If Jamie was played by Tom Hanks and you cast Colin Hanks, you could see Colin Hanks being like, you're my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, you're my dad.
So it's more of a Chet Hanks.
It's a Chet Hanks.
It's a Chet Hanks situation. Or more like what's Bill Pullman's son's name?
I don't know.
Because if you're really looking at him, you know it's Bill Pullman's son.
Oh.
He was in Casino. What was the name of that Cynthia Erivo movie where she's in the hotel and there's the kid? Anyway.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But that kid, you don't know it's Bill Pullman's son until somebody tells you it's Bill Pullman's son. And then you look at him and you're like, oh, okay.
I was thinking maybe Wyatt Russell. Kurt Russell's
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
Where like that's you don't see it until you see it.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Colin Hanks where you're like,
Tom Hanks. Yeah. Wow. It's my dad.
the seed is strong.
Yeah.
The seed is very strong.
Good episode. I enjoyed
episode.
it.
Good episode.
I'm excited about the next one. You want to know the title of the next episode?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Carnal Knowledge.
Oh my God. This is when Jamie's going to fuck Lord John up.
Or fuck Lord John. And then everything's
Probably
even.
not, but it
No.
did sound.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he's going to beat the shit out of Lord John, and Lord John's going to have to wear an eye patch. That's my guess. That's where the eye patch comes from.
Well,
Mm.
I mean, if that is what happens, David Barry really can rock an eye patch.
David Barry pretty much could rock any fashion that anybody put on him. He's like a model.
So good in this episode. So let's
Yes.
get to our little scale.
David Barry.
Let's talk about costumes. Do you have a costume you want to highlight? Even
David
though
Barry.
It's not really a scale anymore. David Barry is not a costume.
I would wear David Barry's skin.
Yeah,
as a
David
suit.
Barry as a costume.
As a costume. I already shouted out Claire's Felicity Merriman outfit. More season 7 blue, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The jacket. The dad jacket, the RAF jacket.
Oh yeah, very important costume.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shout out Lord John's bisexual nightgown. And I know it's just a
his
shirt,
little-
but his like ruffly
cravat.
because you know that man was alive today. He would have matched pajamas. He would wear the tops and the bottoms when he went to sleep every time.
Yep.
And monogram slippers.
Mm-hmm.
That is, he's buttoned up, right? So seeing him like getting drunk in his day clothes is
Something else.
it is out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Ungentlemanly.
Ungentlemanly.
Okay. Doing it scale. I mean,
I don't even know.
was done.
it was done.
It was done. We did not see it. We saw the after effects. We know that it was rough.
Listen, I was fucking with a ghost. Ooh, ooh. You're right.
Okay.
They're like, if they're both having sex to deal with their grief, they're screefing.
They're screwing and screefing.
Screwing and
Screefing and screwing.
Obviously, it's not like titillating, but I do think that it should get bonus points for the like very Bergman-esque pillow talk aftermath.
That scene was really good.
It was a very charming scene, and also he looked good.
I would just like to submit to the group. There is a much maligned episode of Star Trek The Next Generation that is called Sub Rosa, in which Dr. Beverly Crusher falls in love with an Irish ghost and has sex with the Irish ghost several times. So I'm going to give it a Sub Rosa.
There's an ongoing plot point in Grey's Anatomy where one of the characters has sex with a ghost, but really it's that she has a brain tumor.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Beverly Crusher doesn't have that problem. It's just
She fell in love with the patient and then started hallucinating the patient after he died. And they fucked, and he was a ghost. And then it turns out I think she had a brain tumor, or maybe it was like some other kind of hallucination. I don't know. We found out it was a medical thing.
Now I'm
But yeah,
screaming.
the season of Grey's Anatomy where Izzy fucked a ghost that's a thing that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Also the sweet little Ian Rachel kisses were good.
Those
Those were
kisses
nice.
were very cute.
I am looking forward to that inevitable
I can't wait to
sex
see
scene.
it. There was on the next episode blip that they do at the end. I don't think it was Willie, but I couldn't imagine that it was anybody other than Willie having sex with somebody.
I didn't watch the.
Oh, I didn't watch it either.
Okay, so it's either Willie or Henry. It can't be Henry. He's 10 toes down for mercy. But like, I don't know. Something's coming up with somebody. Some youngins are about to do it, and we're about to see like actual doing it. And I don't know if it was a prostitute or what.
Well, God bless whoever it is.
Yeah, we'll see it. We'll see
The
it soon.
old sex worker.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Indeed.
Okay, so doing it scale is really, it's all about the aftermath, which I'm fine with. That I love that scene so much. Okay, getting up to get a beer. I thought the pacing in the first half of the episode was very weird, and
It was
I would have been
kinda
fine
slow.
pausing it a lot.
Yeah.
But once the dancing happens, everything post dancing, let's go. Let's fucking go. Good episode. All right, now the thing we all want to talk about. Who is our universal golden platinum pamplemousse?
David Barry.
He was so good.
He was incredible. Like I said earlier, he got to do every single human emotion in this episode.
And
every single one.
He got to make having a bigoted reaction to your nephew telling you he wants to marry a woman of color in the fucking colonial times equal parts horrifying and very funny.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak to you in private, please. Private, please. Boop, boop. You could just see his asshole tighten up. But then he had the great carriage scene, like obviously
Pillow talk, doing it, screefing.
the drunk stumbling.
Oh,
I'm hosting a party by myself. This is horrible. Oh, thank God my wife is here. This is complicated, but my wife's here. This is great. Yeah. Oh, look, my long lost love is back from the dead. This is about to be real weird. Oh no, his son knows. Oh God, I guess I have to pretend to be a hostage now.
He won't kill me. Oh, he's going to tell you he's going to kill me.
Yeah, I'm seriously, I'm very afraid for my life. Oh no. Yes, and
Andy had to throw together this party. He was having a few people over.
yeah, he was having a few people.
oh,
over.
the crudité, the fromage.
Yeah, I did
The
say what a
partridge, the
setup.
crawfish.
There was the crawfish tower.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he did the most work.
yeah.
David Barry.
That looked like a good party.
Lord John Grey forever.
Yeah, the universal David Barry, Hondo P. When I wrote the little episode description for the last episode, I said it's David Barry season, but now it's David Barry season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is actual David
Cripe.
Barry season. Let's go.
Remember how mad we were that we only saw him like one time in the last 2 seasons?
Remember how mad I still am that we don't have Lord John Grey solves crimes? I want that.
I do want that.
Give this man work.
Yeah, is there a novella that's about Lord John Grey, didn't you say?
Oh yeah, there are a whole series of them. Hold please. Let me pull this up. And then we'll be done.
Once again, an
Play-
announcement from Podlander Drunkcast. Julie has never and will never read these books.
Play Yakety Sax.
So why don't you go ahead and make the Lord John Grey miniseries? Go ahead. Just do. I'll watch it. We'll watch it. Talk about it. We'll love it. Sometimes we'll hate on it. Mostly we'll love it.
Lord John series. Okay. This is when we come back. All right, here we go. Starting in 1998 with Lord John and the Hellfire Club, Lord John and the Private Matter.
What?
Lord John and the Succubus.
Huh?
Lord John and the Brotherhood of the Blade. Lord John and the Haunted Soldier. The Custom of the Army. The Scottish Prisoner.
The custom of the army.
And Lord John and the Plague of Zombies.
No.
You're fucking kidding
You're fucking me.
I'm not.
These are books that Diana
exist.
Gabaldon wrote?
Oh, yeah.
Why is there
Lord
no...
John and the zombies and the plague of zombies.
The zombies thing, though, I can get because of the whole Jamaican plot.
Oh,
Because
I
That's
get
the one
it.
we're most curious about. Let me tell you. Let me see if it has any more info.
But
Ooh, there's another one. Besieged. I guess that's in a collection.
I'm
though.
besieged
Here we go.
by
Lord
my
John
rage and
Plague of-
sadness that I don't have this television series.
Here we go. Lord John and the Plague of Zombies. In 1761, Lord John is sent to Jamaica in command of a battalion to put down a slave rebellion and soon finds himself investigating a mystery. You thought I was joking. Solving snakes,
I'm the one
spiders,
that said
and zombies.
Jamaica, there was...
Oh, no. I'm saying
Yeah.
solving a mystery.
Oh, seriously. Stars. Excuse me. Stars, I'm knocking on your door. I see this blood in my blood. And I understand that the money is in the Jamie and Claire thing. But also, Throw a dog a bone.
Here's another one. Lord John and the Haunted Soldier.
Throw a face a coin.
Yeah, throw a coin at my face.
Gray searches for the culprit behind a suspicious cannon explosion as others seek to blame him or his half-brother for the incident.
Yeah.
Right?
I want the
They're
Lord
not
John
all
Gray
mysteries,
series.
but a lot of them are.
And these all happen while Jamie and Claire are off doing whatever.
Yeah.
They're all concurrent
Some of them involve Jamie, or they'll be like in the in-between times, right?
Oh my
But they're
God.
mostly standalone. It's just Lord John having adventures.
I want David Barry to have work for the rest of his life.
I'm telling you, I don't understand why that guy is so charismatic and he's so fun. Why hasn't Starz already greenlit the Lord John Mystery Series? I want it. Mm-hmm. Just like hire Alan Cumming to go, welcome to the Lord John Mystery Series, right? And then just like have him walking around being like, I do declare, I believe, Lieutenant, you may be the suspect I was looking for. This is what they call a clue. Oh, shut up, Willie. Right? I want it. Okay. Next
Good
week,
eps.
Carnal Knowledge.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Well, we have been very light on doing it so far in season 7B. So
this is not going to be a doing it episode. I apologize in advance.
But wouldn't Mustache name a sex episode Carnal Knowledge? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it's from a quote from the book.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, so I know why it's called Carnal Knowledge.
For unlawful carnal knowledge, as in you fucked my wife.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just
I
saying
assumed
it's from
it
a
was
quote
because you
from the
fucked
book.
my wife, but then I don't know. Mm-hmm. Optimism. We need some right now,
We
because
need
otherwise
some.
we're just screefing.
We just be screaming.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow. What a rollicking good time we all just had together, huh? Allison here, recording the outro by myself so I can say whatever I want. Julie can't stop me. But mostly what I want to say is thank you for listening. You can find more information on this and the rest of our podcasts at podlanderpresents.com. You can also find us on Instagram at podlandercast, at podlanderpresents, and at various other Instagram handles for our various other shows. And you should go do that because they're good and funny, and our social media is by Amelia Ham on the Loose Bazell. All Podlander Presents programming is produced by Allison Shoemaker and Julie Starbird. Our editor is Chris Barrett. Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for joining the team. We're so grateful to have you. Our artwork is by Viv Pickles, a.k.a. Laura. And we are, as always, eternally grateful to our drunk Slack moderators, particularly moderator-in-chief, Jenna Polkowski. You can support the show by going to patreon.com/PodlanderDrunkcast, where you can find all kinds of cool stuff, including our mostly weekly live watches, where we watch the episode right before we record, and you can watch along with us, as well as early access to episodes, some bonus content, and other fun things. Again, that's patreon.com/PodlanderDrunkcast. You can also support us by leaving a review wherever it is that you get your fine podcasts, Spotify, Apple, wherever. Just give us a little review, and we will be so grateful to you. And we especially, in addition to all of those wonderful people who do those wonderful things, want to thank the following lovely folks who support us on Patreon, and they are Susan Springer, Cindy Ella, Catherine Bullard, Patty Drunkle, Rebecca's Gift, Jessica Richardson, Katie the Jorte Fishwife, Mindy Newell, Lara Coach, Mama LT, Brenda, Doc JWS, Sydney Taylor, Snazzy Knack, Lisa Brienne, Julia Gulia, Kathleen Ortini, Kelsey Kemp, Emily Day, Caitlin Reddick, Kristen and Emerson, Freckled Fury, Laura Colm, Amelia Ham on the Loose Bazell, Liz and Tinkerbell, Rochelle Lefevre, Amy Gustafson, Rachel Townsend, Kelly Mazzella, Chantel Salters, Mary the Falling Statue, Tara Lucchino, Viv Pickles, aka Laura, Mary of the Grapefruit, Ann Gibson, Ruth McCormick, Cara Marlowe, Trish McCurry, Julie DeToit, Jen Lynn, Kelly Bodden, Amanda Newton, Queen Elizabeth the Young, and Kiki the Wise. We are so grateful to all of you. Thank you for another wonderful year. We hope that you have very, very happy holidays, and we will be back soon with more sweet, sweet Outlander and or Bridgerton and or Jane Austen and or Girl Solving Crimes content, but probably mostly Outlander right now. That's it. We love you. Bye.